Welcome back to the Amai Podcast. Have you ever noticed that kids today struggle to value hard work? This is part 2 of our conversation with Kim Tanner, mom of 6, where we talk about how she has successfully raised kids that not only can work, but are intrinsically motivated to work hard. I think we can learn from her as she has created some really neat experiences for her kids to help build their character. Let's hear from her. Okay, welcome back everyone. We have Kim Tanner with us. This is a part 2 of a series, and we talked all about birth and just really dived into that. Now we're going to talk about building character in kids, and you have so many different experiences on this. Your kids are truly resilient, hardworking. I just want to know, how have you gotten to this point?
I will have to give my parents credit, probably.
Okay.
We had a greenhouse business growing up. I grew up in North Carolina, kind of backwoods redneck kids. It was fantastic.
I love it.
And so it's just kind of a truck loading experience. I mean, because there were times that we would be loading a truck of plants at 11 o'clock at night for my dad to get in and drive them to go deliver them to get to the place at 6 o'clock the next morning. And
this was really like a family thing?
Business.
Okay.
Yes. And so, yeah, that's what we did. But in that also, this is with Susan's family too, so you know Susan,
yes,
sorry.
Yes.
But this is what we do. When we would get big rainstorms, we had her car. We took Susan's mom's car, actually, and we would tie a rope to the bumper and pull each other on boogie boards down ditches. Like, that was our skiing experience. I'm not really sure. So when I'm talking redneck, like, that was us as kids. So we were just kind of free-range kids. I don't know if that's what you call them, but we also knew how to work, too. And that was super helpful. And so we live in a city now, just like on a little half acre, and we don't have... I was like, how do we give our kids this truck loading experience? Yeah. And so it started out with our oldest, probably we got chickens, right? That was
it all starts with chickens.
It starts with chickens, and then it goes to geese. No. So it starts with chickens, and you can buy chickens cheap. You can buy eggs cheaper at the store. But that wasn't our goal, right? It was let's have this experience. And we have gone the rounds. I mean, we've done the animals, and we've had rabbits, and we've had bees, and we even tried goats.
You did bees?
We did bees.
I heard bees are like one of the hardest.
Oh, well, yeah, it didn't keep going. We may have them again one day, but we've done bees. We've done geese. We tried goats, which we live in the city limits where it's not actually... We can't have goats. So that didn't actually last very long.
You discovered that. Okay.
Yeah, but that was a good experience. I got to milk goats for a little while, and that was fun. So we've just done lots of different things like that to give them opportunities to work. And then we have a family business, and so they get to work there. And they are learning, they're really good at understanding the value of money, right? And just that, hey.
But you've obviously taught that to them from a young age, it sounds like.
Yeah, it's like, hey, if you want that, yeah, you can do it. Go make the money and do it. Wow. And so it's kind of funny, some of the things that they've done over the years. But when 3 of my boys were, I think they were 9, 11, and 13 at the time, they decided, we're going to buy this camper and we're going to rent it out. And so they did. They bought this little camper and slept 8 people, I guess, a great little camper, and
that is so cool.
They rented that out, and they bought another one to
Did they just come up with that? Like, how
they learned it from another family in FLA that
smart.
Yes, so they did see the example from another family that was doing that, and they were like, we could do that.
We could totally do that.
But
how did it go? Did it go well?
So they did that. They did that for a while. Their last renting experience didn't go so well. There was some damage, and so they were like, we're selling it. So they're probably going to sell it now. So, which is fine. Like, it's good because they're like, we want to recoup our money and do something else with it. And so we're those neighbors, right? Bless our neighbors that are so good to us that they're like, what's the next adventure? And at the time the boys were like, can we wash your trash cans? Can we walk your dog? Can they do? And they just did whatever they could to make the money to buy this camper. And so,
wow.
So that's been really good. So last year, my oldest and I I take this back. So my husband was taking a couple of the boys on a humanitarian trip to Mexico.
Okay. And just to recap, tell us how many kids you have. Because I know we said that in the first.
So sorry, 6 kids. There's 2 girls and 4 boys. And they range from 7 years old to 23. The oldest is 23 that just got married. So again, I'm a mother-in-law, so I guess now I have an extra son.
But, so fun.
Okay, so the oldest and I, so my husband was taking them to Mexico, and my daughter found this opportunity to go to Guatemala. And I was like, well, I want to go. Well, let's go. I want to do this. And so we signed up to do that. I immediately panicked because I was like, I've never been anywhere. Like, I've been to Canada, if that counts for leaving the country. Like, I don't travel a lot. And so we did this thing and stretched way outside our comfort zone, and it was life-changing. It was...
And this was a humanitarian.
Yes, it was a humanitarian trip. And so it was going up into villages that you're riding in the back of cattle trucks up to get to. It was just incredible.
Wow.
So incredible. And when I came home from that, I said to my husband, we're doing this. Like, we have to take the whole family back. It's incredible. And so we did. And
wow.
We went last month, and is it last month? I don't even know what day it is. Yeah, it was last month. It was in March.
That's so cool.
And took all of them, and such a perspective. One of my sons had a birthday right before we left, so he was going to do his birthday stuff after we got back. And when he got back, he was like, I thought I wanted that for my birthday, but I don't really think I need that. That doesn't, like, his whole perspective had shifted.
Wow.
I'm just like,
okay, so tell, like, what happened on this trip and what?
I think the seeing how happy people were that didn't have anything.
Yes. Very happy.
That was a different perspective.
Because you're in these, like, tiny villages that are...
Small villages, remote. They speak a Mayan language, Quechua. It's not even Spanish there. I mean, it's just these very remote villages. And some of them we went to this time, some of them do have power in their villages. So you've got some of that. Some of the ones we went to last time didn't. I mean, it's like, here's a solar panel that you earned. So, and the group that we went with is incredible because they try to create sustainability. Like, we're not going to come in and do the work for you. They set goals with these communities, and then they can earn rewards.
That's so cool. What is this group called?
Enlevo. I cannot say enough good about them. Ooh. So it's Enlevo, ENLEVO. I think if you just look enlevo.org, we'll get a link to that.
Yes,
they're
because
fantastic.
That is so neat, because I've really wanted to do something similar. But for me, it's like, do I really want to, like, plan all that and figure that out? And how do I, especially when it's in a different country and dealing with things, it'd be so nice to just show up and be like, we're here to work.
Yeah.
What do you want me to do?
Commercial break for them? Sorry, let's do this. But let me explain kind of what they did. Yeah. So we show up, and they picked us up from the airport, and then they just take it from there. And so we got to do...
They just, like...
Yes. All the food was taken care of. They do all of that. And so it was you get a cultural experience, so you get to see some of the sights and do that kind of thing. And then they take you into these villages, and you're reading with the kids, you're playing games with them, but you don't speak their language, but you do speak their language.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Because it's the human language of love.
Yes,
and
it's love.
Connection.
It is so beautiful. And the kids just playing with them, even though their worlds are so different, but seeing their world and getting to be part of it and working beside them. So there's some things that literally you are just playing with the kids. You're playing duck, duck, goose for hours, like you're doing that. And then in one village we went and filled dirt bags because they're getting plants in, because they're helping these people become sustainable. So they're helping them grow crops that they can sell, that they can make money for the village. And so they're not just going in and doing, but teaching them how to, which is exactly what we're trying to do as parents, right?
Right.
We're not trying to do everything for them and make it easy for them. We're like letting them stretch through it. Yes.
So that they can grow. Yes.
And build that resiliency in kids. And so our backyard, we're jumping from Guatemala to our backyard. But our backyard, I heard the lady that used to live there many, many years ago, it was on the neighborhood lawn and garden tour or something. Like people would come and tour it because it was beautiful. It's not. It is a total kid backyard, and my kids dig holes, and they build catapults back there, and now they have dirt bikes back there, and they make ramps, and we're just like redneck backyard.
Wow.
And
But
so,
you're allowing them to have these experiences. Right?
yes,
Like,
okay. So I did get a call. This was right before we went to Guatemala. My neighbor called, and she said, "Hey, your kids are in my yard," and she was so excited because she's wanted to actually cut a hole in the fence so the kids could play through there. And
oh my gosh, that's so cute.
So she was excited that, hey, your kids are over here, and she's like, apparently they dug a hole under the fence, and that's how they got. And I was like, I think there was part of me that was mad, and there's part of me that was like that was honestly genius.
That's impressive.
Well done, kids. Well, they dug a hole under the fence to get over to their house. So there are some boundaries that we set. One time they were building a fort, and then we noticed they were taking fence posts off the fence, and we're like, okay, can't do that. So we do have limits, right? But there are places where they're allowed to dig and not, but it is.
But you're allowing them to have these adventures, right? These abilities to push their limits and be creative.
Yeah, sometimes whether I like it or not, right? Like they're doing it, but they are very adventurous. And I credit my husband to a ton of that. He is so good to push them and to, with my oldest daughter, he was like, we're going to do Spartan Races. Do you know, are you familiar with Spartan Races? Yeah. So he said, hey, we're going to go
making this happen.
And I was like, look, you go do the crazy, but you are not having her do that. Like, that is ridiculous.
Like,
I remember saying it.
You do that, not my daughter.
She's not doing that. Anyway, it was incredible because he did do that with her. And they ended up getting the trifecta where they did the 3 different ones in 1 year. And they even talked me into doing one, which I don't even know how that happened. But I am a Spartan apparently once, and that's it. That was hang my hat there. That was good. But it's that doing hard things and doing them together.
That builds the family.
That's fun. And honestly, I'll give my husband more credit there because sometimes I'm like, yeah, you guys go ahead. I'm going to work on stuff here. So he's definitely the catalyst there for doing that and reminding me to let them stretch and have these opportunities, you know.
And they're so important, right? Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes my brain wants to just, no, we got to keep them safe.
Yes.
You know, which we do. I mean, not trying to say we're
But
crazy.
There's so much that they need to learn. Mm-hmm. You know, if we just coddle them, they won't learn all of those things.
Exactly. Right? You gotta let them stretch and grow and do it wrong sometimes, right?
Yeah. And just complete fail sometimes. Wow. Well, thank you. This has been beautiful. I've loved it. Is there anything else that you want to share as far as like kids?
I think let them talk.
Ooh.
And so I'm saying this and I'm not grand at it, right? My oldest daughter was the chatterbox. When she would come home after being out or being on a date or whatever, I mean, she would come in and just talk to where my husband's like, can we go to bed now? You know, like it was kind of that. But I love that. And I think that's helped our relationship. And so my next son, went on his first date recently, and he's like, hey, listen, don't expect me to be like her. I am not gonna. He's like, Mom,
this isn't gonna happen, Mom. No, so don't get your hopes up.
He's like, I'm not like her, and I'm not gonna chat, so you don't even need to wait up for me. And I was like, okay, I'll be waiting up.
Ouch. Yeah. Was that, or was it like?
No, it was just like, that's fine, but I'm gonna wait up.
Interesting.
I'm waiting up for you, and it was so fun. He came home, and he started talking, and 30 minutes later, I was like, I know. You're not like Jaden. That's okay. But just let them talk. And I think those are the times.
That's cool.
You know, sometimes I have the phone struggle of put the phone down thing. Right. But not at night when they're talking like that. It's never like
just let them keep talking.
Just let them talk.
Okay.
I think that would be
your advice.
One little bit of.
That's where the real connection is happening, right?
I think so. They just want to be thinking about it, right? But yeah, I feel like
they want to be heard.
So, and I need to do that more with my other ones, not just when they're gonna go out on dates and stuff, but just all the time. Just let them talk and do more. I love sometimes when they're talking to me, they're like, are you really listening? And I'll be able to whip out something they said, and they're like, oh, you are listening. I'm like, yes, I was.
Good mom.
Because there are those times when you're not, and you're like, yep. Like, so yeah. And sometimes I remember that was the time with him. He was like, Mom, you don't even have to listen to me. Just let me talk. You know, and this is like when he was younger, and I was like, okay, that's good. So anyway, maybe that.
I love it.
And be gentle with you, Mama. I think that's always my message. Just be gentle with you because
we deserve it.
There's
so much on our plates.
We have a lot.
We do.
And I think just give yourself the grace and
let it happen. Let it all happen. It's all for our good. That's the message I feel from you. It's like whatever happens, let it build. Let it create you.
Yes. One last thing. There was I work with the youth in our church, and we had done this activity where we went out and planted tulips.
Oh, cool. Where? Like
at a local temple church thing where we went out there and we planted tulips just kind of as a service project before they were opening this building. And so, but we got there and it was a little chaotic. It was honestly a little crazy. And they're like, okay, do this. And we were planting all sorts of flowers and tulips and all of that. Oh. And this was at the end of the year. And so winter came and killed a lot of the flowers that we did.
Sad.
But just recently, the tulips came up. And so I was there last week and I came out and I saw these tulips that were growing. And seriously, I mean, it was beautiful. It was like dews on them and it was just beautiful. And I took some pictures of them to show the girls. And just to say, you know what, we didn't know if we were doing it right when we planted them.
Right.
But we were.
I look, even through the hard,
yes,
they bloom.
They grew. And so be intentional about what you're planting and then trust the process.
Yes.
Right? Because the flowers are going to come up.
Right.
And they're reaching for the light. And so as we're reaching for that light, like, trust that you're doing it. You're planting the tulips and it's going to work out.
Ooh.
Because they do come.
They do.
So.
Love it. Thank you so much. You're just a gem. I know we could talk for hours and hours and hours.
It was so fun.
It's just so amazing.
So fun.
Thank you for being here tonight, Kim.